Red light's on. I'm nervous.
For Live Starring You, this is Alexa Myers, and today we're talking to Jack Armstrong. Jack, I just want to know, first of all, how did you get started in the coaching business?
I was a grade school coach in Brooklyn and then got involved as a high school coach, went back to my high school and coached, and then got hired at Fordham University in New York in the Bronx as an assistant, and then came to Western New York as an assistant at Niagara, and then became the head coach for 9 years. So it was a great experience, and loved every bit of it, Alexa.
How was the lifestyle of a coach different from what you expected?
A lot more stressful than I ever thought. When you're in a position of leadership, there's a lot of people that second guess you. Everyone always thinks they can do it better than you, and a lot of times, we all want to be liked. And I think the thing that I learned the most is that if you base decisions based upon being liked or being popular rather than doing what's right, you're going to have problems. As long as you communicate well and you do what you believe is right, people will fall in line and kind of go along with what you're trying to do. But I think that's the biggest thing, is just the challenges of the winning and the losing. Coaches are all perfectionists. You're always in that mode of being somewhat miserable. Even when you win, it's a sense of relief rather than euphoria, because there's always another game to get ready for. And the more you win, the more people expect you to win and win by that much more. So it's a constant battle, and it's a people business. So you're dealing with people that have flaws, that have things going on in their lives that sometimes have a way of kind of getting in the way of what you're trying to get accomplished. And it's a team sport. And, there are times in our society that more than ever, you're trying to get people that are so locked in on the individualistic side of it to buy into what's more important for the team.
And how has the schedule of a coach affected your family life and how you've dealt with that?
It's hard. I will not kid you. There are times if you're a coach, I think you're in public life. Unfortunately, you have to neglect components of your life, whether it be your time with your family, your health, just your day-to-day time to reflect. There are times during the course of a season where you've got to spend the 16, 18, 20-hour workday in the office, and your wife has to basically raise the family, and that's hard. And you can, I'm sure, talk to Chan Gailey and his coaches with the Buffalo Bills, or Lindy Ruff and his coaches with the Buffalo Sabres, or any of the college coaches here at UB, Canisius, St. Bonaventure, Niagara, and I'm sure they would say the same thing. So that's a hard thing to deal with, that you say, wait a minute, I'm spending all these hours here, and my life is in a fishbowl, and I'm missing some real precious times in the growth and development of my children, and times that I'd rather spend with my wife to do this. So there's sacrifices with it that I think a lot of times people only see on game night, but there's a lot more than game night.
And And also, after being at Niagara, you got fired, and you've talked openly about that. Being in the public light and seeing that on all the newspapers and listening to that on all the news channels, did that affect you and your family?
Well, it affects you, sure. Absolutely. It puts you in a position where now you have to respond. The question is, am I going to become bitter or am I going to become better? And I made the decision that I'm going to utilize that experience, which was a wonderful experience. I love Niagara. I had a great 10-year experience there. I'm going to use that as a springboard for success. I'm going to get better from that. And I feel like I have. In life, we get knocked down. As a coach, as a public figure, your failure is more on the front page than maybe when someone gets fired at a job. And believe me, it hurts there just as much as it hurt me. I think we have a choice we have to make in life. 10% is what happens to us. 90% is how we choose to deal with it. And gladly, I'm thankful that I was strong enough to deal with it in a way that hopefully put me in a position to do better. But we all have things in life that aren't fair, that aren't right, that don't go our way, that we have setbacks. And how do you react to it? How do you bounce back from them?
When you chose Toronto to continue your career in broadcast,
Well, I'm glad they chose me.
well, when that became your next step in life, were you worried about the commute at all, or did you see it as actually shorter considering all the traveling you did?
Well, it's interesting. I live in Lewiston, so with no traffic, I can get to downtown Toronto in an hour and 15, hour 20. So it's not that bad. Now, obviously, in Western New York, 20 miles means 20 minutes, so it's a little different. But no, that never intimidated me. It was an opportunity in a top 5 media market, a very wealthy market, a market with a great passion for sports, and to get in on the ground floor. This will be my 14th year with the Raptors, and it's only the 17th year of their existence. So to be one of the faces, one of the ambassadors, not only for the team, but more importantly, the sport as it grows in Canada, because obviously Canada, I could take out a $5 bill right now. There's kids playing hockey on the $5 bill. So I know where we are in the pecking order. So I think it's a great opportunity to be an ambassador for the sport and for the team in a country that is more hockey-centric.
Do people respond to you differently when you're here in Western New York than when you're over in Canada?
Yeah, in Western New York, hey, coach, how you doing? And then when I'm in Ontario, it's more, hey, Jack Armstrong, Toronto Raptors. So, and a lot of people there call me coach as well, even though I haven't coached in 14 years. But the fun thing is kind of going over the bridge back and forth. When I'm driving into Canada, I'm the Raptors guy. When I'm driving back into the States, the border guys that are sports fans go, hey, you're the next Niagara coach. So it's kind of interesting. And I like that, actually. I like the fact that I live here in Western New York. I think Western New York's an awesome place to live. The quality of life is off the charts. It's a great place to raise a family. And I've been here almost as much as I spent my first 25 years of my life in New York City, in Brooklyn. And I've been here now for 23. So I feel myself as much a Buffalonian as I would be a guy from Brooklyn, New York. So I like the fact that I have that separation, that I'm not always right there front and center in Toronto, where I like that separation, where I can come back here every day and have a different lifestyle than maybe I would if I lived there 365 days a year.
You have 3 sons?
Yep.
Do they ever travel with you over to Toronto, go to the games?
Yeah.
Or they play a big part in that?
Well, they all have their own sports that they do, and they're all involved in school. So I've tried to bring each of them on a trip with me. My older 2 guys, one I brought to San Antonio, another one I brought to L.A. We played the Lakers. And then my youngest guy, hopefully I'll bring him either this season or next season before he starts high school. My wife has come on the road with me as well a little bit. But during the time of year that I'm traveling, it's difficult. But particularly when we have home games in Toronto, they come up for the game. So they have a lot of fun. They've been in the TV truck. They've been on the court. They've met players and coaches. And it's a neat experience for them.
And lastly, what are your thoughts on the NFL lockout, and how do you think it's going to change your career if there isn't a season?
Well, the NFL or the NBA?
Or the NBA lockout.
Well,
Can we redo that question?
Yeah. Actually,
Oh my
I need
gosh.
you guys to slide over.
I know, we keep moving over.
It's all right.
I've been moving with you.
Okay, redo that question.
That's all right. No problem.
And lastly, with the NBA lockout, are you concerned with how that's going to affect your career?
Well, it's funny. The first year in the NBA for me with the Toronto Raptors was 1998. That was the last lockout. So I've lived it before. And I think the thing that I've learned is you can't worry about things you can't control. I can't control what ownership and the players' union agree or disagree on. So I kind of have just an impartial view, and I sit there and I watch, and I let them worry about it. And when I know I have a schedule for this season, and I have every hope and expectation that at some point when they say we're ready to go, all right, here we go. I'm ready to do my job. So I can't worry about it. I'd drive myself nuts if I did. So if it doesn't happen where we don't have a season or we miss games or whatever, then if you need your driveway shoveled, I'll be more than happy to come over and shovel your driveway. But I'll worry about that when we get to that point in the road. But I think that's the best way to go about it. I'm just doing my thing every day, getting ready for the season, and fingers crossed it all works itself out.
All right, well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I'm Alexa Myers from Live Starring You.